Hey, good morning, good morning. What's up, peoples? Hey, so yesterday, sorry about yesterday's uploads. I was gonna combine them. But my internet was being shitty, and my whole computer was lagging out because of it. I know that sounds weird, but like all the electronics in my house yesterday were being really weird, including my phone. So I'm hoping I don't have some kind of like mega fucking virus or something. I know that sounds stupid, but I hope I don't have some kind of crazy ass virus on my home network. So yeah, yesterday's videos were unedited. There's no description in them. I need to add some information into those videos because I still would like to try to raise money for David's family. But yeah, guys. So apparently, our internet provider is aware that there's an outage in our area, and it's not just our house. So hopefully sooner than later, my internet will be back up because I had to cancel my stream last night. My YouTube videos, I uploaded them. It took all day to upload those 2 videos, guys. That's why there were two uploads, and the second one loaded at like fucking late as hell last night. So that was why. Enough beating a dead horse, guys. I got a subject for you today. Got a category. Got something to talk about, and it's actually a real life situation this morning that happened. That I was thinking, like, how can I spin this into a question, into a platform to talk about and to discuss, you know? But teaching kids lessons. That's more or less what I'm going to talk about this morning. My 7-year-old, he's about to be 8 years old. Granted, he's still very young, right? I told all my kids this morning, hey, it's 28 degrees outside, which it was. It's 32 right now, so it's warmed up a little bit. But I'm wearing, you guys can see I look fucking fluffier than normal. I got a shirt on and 2 sweatshirts, a beanie, fucking long johns underneath my jeans. It's fucking cold, right? So I told my kids it's cold this morning, and I tell them, hey, go get jackets, go get sweatshirts, go do whatever. My heater, and this is a true story also, last night, my fucking heater in my truck just stopped working and then started making this loud vibration, like brrr, and it won't stop. Like, here, listen to this. Listen, Linda. Yes, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it sounds like a fucking dying motor, right? Sorry about that. So this morning, I told my kids, it's cold outside, there's no heater in the truck, until I get it fixed. Dress appropriately. So after like 15 minutes of watching my 7-year-old walk around and like do absolutely nothing, I said, Jack, you need to go put a freaking sweatshirt on, man. And he didn't even move. He didn't do nothing. I said, fine, you don't want to put a sweatshirt on? Go get out in the truck. So he had on pants, but a short sleeve shirt this morning, leaving for school. And to go with the heater being broken, the defroster doesn't work. So at one point I had to roll down my windows, and going 60 miles an hour in 30-degree weather, it got fucking cold, you know? And guys, I'm not telling you this because I'm bragging about child abuse or whatever. I actually ended up stopping at Walmart and buying him a nice, like, warm jacket. So he was happy about that. But my point, and I even talked to him about it, you know, after I dropped him off for school this morning. I kept my youngest back for a couple minutes to talk to him. Like, if I tell him to do something, it needs to happen, and there's consequences, not just by me, but there could be other serious consequences, like being so cold you're crying in the front seat of your car. You know? So I wanted to talk to you guys about what do you think some life lessons, what do you think some life lessons are that worked for you guys growing up that maybe people would have looked at and been like, man, that's a little too harsh. But, you know, you look back at it and you're like, man, that, you know, thankfully that happened to me because I will never fucking do that again, you know? And the same thing happened to me when I was a young kid. That happened to Jack, my youngest, today. There was a couple times where my parents were like, hey, Brandon, you need to put on some fucking sweat clothes before you go to school today. Like, it's 30 degrees outside. And I was like, nah, I'm going to wear shorts and a t-shirt. And, you know, I went to school in shorts and a t-shirt and fucking there was 30 degree weather. And, there was a lot of doubt in my heart on the way to school because I had to walk to school. I didn't get to drive. I had to walk. And it was just so fucking cold, but me and the cold don't get along, man. So now, you see, like, if I know it's cold outside, I bundle up, dude. I don't fuck around with the cold. But, you know, I can accredit that. I mean, a lot of that's a common sense thing, but a lot of that, I won't leave home without warming layers now because I did experience going to school without them because I was stubborn. So it's a lesson learned for me, you know. And my 7-year-old, he went like 10 minutes without it. So it wasn't like I, you know, sent him to school unprepared or whatever. He has a nice warm jacket right now. But to me, it was like a lesson. Hopefully he understands that if I say something, you know, it needs to happen. And I do that a lot with my kids, actually. I'll tell them they need to do something. And if they don't do it, I'll be like, okay. And I sit back and let them see what the consequences are. You know, and they find out, oh shit, maybe I should have listened to Dad, you know? Maybe I should have done what Mom told me to do. You know? And it's not just today. Like, there's other stuff that, you know, that I do. Like, I tell the kids, where I live, I have to take my trash to a dumpster. We don't have running trash, right? So I tell the kids when the trash gets full, and it's my oldest's chore right now. So when the trash gets full, you need to take it out to my truck and put it in the bed of my truck and let me know so I can take it to the dumpster, you know? And they'll, you know, oh, it's dark outside, it's cold outside, it's this, it's that, blah, 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 blah. Can I just put it outside? And after like months of saying, no, you can't just put it outside, you need to go put it up because we have a lot of raccoons, possums, and cats in our neighborhood. You know, I was like, you know what? Go ahead. But when the animals rip into it, you're going to be the one picking it up Saturday morning instead of sleeping in and doing what you're doing. I'm going to come wake you up, and Saturday morning you're going to go out there and pick it up. And no shit, they throw the fucking trash bag right outside the front porch or right outside the back porch, and the animals get into it and there's trash all over. And then they want to cry about it on Saturday because if I say something to my kids, that's very important. If you're a parent or plan to be a parent someday, or maybe you're just a kid watching this, it's very important you stick to what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to punish them and they do what you say you're going to punish them for, there needs to be a punishment. If you say you're going to reward them and they do what you say you're going to reward them for, you need to give them that reward. Because just like an employee, just like being an employee, right? You go to work every morning and your boss says, hey, John, or you know, whatever, John, hey, if you do this work for me, I'll give you Friday off. And you do that work for him, and then he goes, oh man, I wish I could, I can't let you go. The next time he asks you to do that shit, you ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing goes with the kids. And kids are a little bit more like forgiving. But after a while of you not doing what you say you're going to do for them, they're going to stop putting in work for you. They're going to stop doing the shit. And it's not just putting in work for you. Because kids look at homework as work they have to do for their parents or the teacher or whatever. They're going to stop doing their homework because they're going to be like, Dad says there's consequences, but there ain't no consequences, you know? They're going to stop doing that shit. So if you say you're going to reward or you say you're going to punish them, it needs to happen. And if you find out you're punishing more than you're rewarding or rewarding more than you're punishing, you need to balance it out, you know? And I know that's hard. Sometimes you have a bad kid. I have a kid. I don't think any of my kids are bad. Let me clear that up. None of my kids are bad. But my youngest is my youngest, and he has some problems. and they shine sometimes, and I have a hard time finding compliments for him. Not that it's hard to find compliments for him, but he gets me so pissed off sometimes that I overlook the good stuff he's doing, right? But I try to find things to where we can, even if it's, I don't know, but I find ways to compliment, and compliments can be as rewards too, people. You don't have to give physical rewards. You don't have to be like, hey son, if you take the trash out for me, I'll give you $5. Just saying, hey, I really appreciate your help, man. You're really helping out around the house. You're being a big kid, and I appreciate that. That shit goes miles for a kid, man. That's like, if you look back at you were a kid and your parents complimented you on something when you were young, you could probably still remember it. Like, I remember stuff like that. Like, I grew up in a very laid-back household. Like, my parents, at least, there was no consequences for anything I did. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted to. As long as I was out of the house, they didn't care. There was no bedtime. There was no curfew. I could come home at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Monday, and nothing, right? So I had to figure out a bunch of shit the hard way. But there's stuff that I remember, like, for sports, and I think that's why sports played a huge part in my growing up, because there were very few times where my dad was like, "Hey son, good job." Very few, and 90% of the ones I remember were for football, man. Or winning states at track. My dad told me, "Good job." And the first time my dad ever said, "I love you," and this is kind of off on a personal thing, but my dad never said "I love you" growing up. It wasn't something he did. The first time I ever remember my dad saying, "Son, I love you," I was 18 years old and heading off to boot camp. First time ever my dad said that. So you remember that kind of stuff. You remember when your parents compliment you on stuff. You remember that. So use those as rewards, guys. Don't and this isn't just for parenting. I know I'm hitting up parenting, but if you're a manager, use it with your employees. Use it with your coworkers. If you coach sports, use it with your kids. Compliment them. Don't just point out the things they're doing wrong. Find the things they're doing right and point those out. If you got a kid that, punishing him isn't enough, or you got an employee that punishing them isn't enough, reward the people that are doing the right thing. And make sure, don't point it out to him that he's not getting rewarded, but point out to him like, "Hey, John, you see that Steve got the day off today? Or did you see that, I don't know what you guys do for a living, but did you see did you see John got the easy job today? It's because he's been doing a great job this week, man. You should tell him that you appreciate his hard work too." Or something along those lines, And I promise you that there'll be a change. There'll be a change. I forgot, like, I was going off on a rabbit hole tangent there, and you guys know that's what I do. But yeah, I mean, how far do you guys go to prove a point? Whether it's coworkers, whether it's subordinates, whether it's seniors. Maybe you got a boss that sucks at his job, and he's constantly getting rewarded for your hard work. So, instead of doing what you always do, making him look good, or making her look good, whatever. I'm not being sexist. But instead of doing what you always do to make them look good, maybe you go out of your way for a week, and you don't do anything unless he tells you to do it, so that he can see that he's been slacking on his job. That's an example. But what do you guys do? What do you guys do to prove points to people? I'm interested. I would like to know what other people have done, because I'll tell you, that point I was proving this morning with my youngest, it kind of hurt my feelings. 'Cause I'm very strict. I'm stern. If I say something, like I've been preaching in this video, if I say something, I mean it. I'm going to do it. And I hate I really hate being the bad guy sometimes because moms, I'll say this, moms with strict husbands can sometimes be pushovers. A lot of the times I see it. Moms are pushovers. And my household, I'm very strict, so my wife is an even balance, you know. Sometimes we butt heads because she feels I'm being too strict and I feel she's being too easy on him, you know. And that's going to happen when you clash with, you know, different types of parenting. But sorry guys, I had to take that turn a little faster than normal. But what's some things that you guys do to prove points to people? I don't like, it hurt my feelings to have to do that to my son this morning, but I hope he understands that, like, I'm not just saying shit to say it. Like, if I say something, there's a reason behind it, you know? And it kind of hurts my feelings when I have to be an asshole to my son, because I love my kids. They're the reason I'm still alive. I've been through some dark times. They're the reason I'm still alive, you know? So it hurts. It hurts when I have to be the asshole, but I know that if I'm not teaching the skills required to be adults, to be responsible adults, not just adult, anybody can fucking turn 18, but to be responsible adults, who's going to, you know? If I baby them and do everything for them, how are they going to learn lessons? And you can argue that he's too young, but when aren't they? When aren't they too young? Because I look at 18-year-old kids. And I'm like, that dude's too young to be smoking. That dude's too young to, you know, to work here. That dude, there's situations where people just, they're not mentally ready. And you can look at them and be like, you know, is that because of their age, or is that because they're parents? Because I feel like my 10-year-old, and I'll be honest, my 10-year-old is more responsible than a lot of teenagers that I know. And I mean, I guess I don't know a whole lot of teenagers anymore. But, like, I'm around them. I'm around teenagers, so I feel like my 10-year-old is more responsible. And that's because since he was old enough to make fucking goo goo gaga sounds, I've been strict on him. I've let him find out some things the hard way. I've been strict. I've stuck to my word, good or bad. I've stuck to my word. But I see my 10-year-old being super successful. Like, I just got his progress report yesterday. The lowest grade on his progress report was a 97. And he's gone from failing all the way up to now where he's one of the top students in his class. Not just intelligence, but grade-wise, because I'm so strict. When they come home to do their homework, when they come home, the first thing they do is their homework. And I don't just go, oh, you did your homework? Put it up. Go, let me see it. Let me see your homework. You know? Hey, this is sloppy. Erase it and redo it. Or, hey, this whole fucking, I do this. I did this with my 7-year-old, Monday or Tuesday. He gave me some sloppy homework. I ripped it up and made him start over. Don't give me some half-ass stuff, man. You give me half-ass effort when we're working, your ass is getting fired. You know? And that's one of the points that I try to drive home all the time. Don't give me half-ass effort, man. You're only going to have to redo it. It's only going to make it take longer if you do it half-ass the first time, because you know I'm going to make you redo it. Just like any good self-respecting boss would do. You fuck up that, hey, you fucked up doing this, do it again. You know? You fucked up the second time, just do it a third time. You fucked up 101st time, do it 102nd time. You know? I'll give you one last example before we end this video. I was a comm Marine. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was a comm guy. And as a Lance Corporal, I was a pretty good Marine. Or I was a pretty good Lance Corporal. We won't get into whether I was a good or bad Marine. But I was a good Lance Corporal. I did what I was supposed to do. I was pretty proficient in my job and all that shit. Obviously being biased because I'm talking about myself here, so I'm sure someone has something else they'd like to throw in there. But I remember one time I was cutting. If you've ever tipped Cat 5, and guys, I can cite this off still. I've been out of the Marine Corps for almost 2 years. Well, about a year and a half I've been out of the Marine Corps. And my last, 5 years in the Marine Corps, I was a combat instructor. I didn't do anything comm, really. And I can still tell you the color pattern for a fucking cable, a Cat 5 cable, is white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, green, white, brown, brown. And I can tell you that because when I was a Lance Corporal, I fucked up one time, and my Sergeant Alfred, made me fucking sit there and tip 100 Cat 5 cables. And if you've ever sat there and tipped one Cat 5 cable, and you're not, a super experienced person, that shit takes forever. I say forever. It's 2-3 minutes. But it's tedious. Lining up all the fucking cables, lining them all up into the RJ45s and everything. This shit can be tedious. And I sat there and did it 100 times. You know what he did after I did it 100 times? He checked them. I had about 23, 20, I don't remember the exact number, but they were wrong. Guess what had to happen? I had to go retip those. Inspect what you expect, guys. And that's the last point of this. I'm going to go ahead and drive home for you guys, but I got to go through my phone. It's saying I only have 6 minutes left of camera time, which means I have a lot of shit on here, so I'm going to have to go through and delete it all. But, yeah, guys, let me know any comments, whether it's a life lesson that you learned, whether it's a life lesson you hope somebody else learns that you did, something that you do that, teaches people, or something that somebody else does that you think is teaching you, whatever. Let me know. But yeah, guys, hopefully you got something out of this video today. I feel like, maybe I explained something you didn't even know that, somebody was doing for you. Maybe that happened. I don't know. But yeah, guys, until next time, Arrivederci. Oh, hold on. Dunkin' Donuts.